In this video, I'll be analysing a 60-second extract from a music video in the same way that you might do for a media language question. So here's my exam question. Explore how the combination of elements of media language influences meaning in the music video. To do this, I'll be looking at a 60-second extract using a music video by the Cranberries called All Over Now. Just like you would do in the exam, I have taken some detailed notes. So I tried to spend about 10 minutes taking these notes. And here's my example on the left of the screen. So my notes are denotations only, and these are detailed examples that I'm going to use to do the connotations for. So here's my very quick one-sentence intro. The purpose of this media text is to promote the band to its target audience and to highlight an important social message for the use of media language. Now, I would recommend that you do a very short intro, just one sentence. It helps to gain the examiner's attention, it states the purpose of what you're going to do, and to establish your credibility in terms of answering the exam question. Okay, if you are a first year media student or you're brand new to media studies, I'd recommend in terms of developing your media language skills, this is a technique you can do. So take screenshots, make them really big, and add your notes and analysis on top. So let's begin with my first shot. So my first shot is a wide shot. It's also an establishing shot. So it's telling the audience where it's set. In this case, it's in the countryside somewhere. It also establishes the weather, there is very bad weather. And we've also established that there is a character working her way through the countryside. In terms of use of colour, we have lots of dark blue to the right of the screen. So this is also low-key lighting. So this would suggest that she's heading into some kind of darkness in her life, some kind of obstacle. In the bottom left of the screen, we have some motivated lighting. So we can kind of see that's daytime. So we can see the sun is going in the background. That suggests that she's moving away from a happy, bright place and heading into this dark place. In terms of her costume, she's wearing a raincoat, so the connotations is that she's trying to protect herself from the elements and also protect herself from the bad things that are happening in her life, which we'll get to later. In terms of colour yellow, so the director's chosen yellow because it suggests that she is an intelligent person, a warm person, so an innocent person. In terms of Claude Levi-Strauss and narrative, so he stated that narratives are binary oppositions. So it's this woman against the weather. She's uphill, so it's a struggle against not only the weather but the landscape. But this also has connotations of a personal struggle. So she's got a personal struggle in her life. And in terms of Todorov, this is the disruption of the equilibrium. So this is the start of the extract. So she's moving away from this happy place and there's some kind of disruption happening. In this case, it's the weather. And we'll go into what this all represents and means later on. And in terms of genre as well, so this is a narrative music video, which means we're going to see a story unfold with characters and storyline. In terms of enigma code, so why has she travelled to this cliff in bad weather? So she's standing at the edge of the cliff. Is she going to jump? Is she going to commit suicide? In terms of framing of this second shot, she's very small in the frame, so it makes her appear isolated, alone and very vulnerable. So in terms of camera work, we have a medium close-up. So this allows us to see the face more clearly without getting too close, and also to allow us to see the countryside in the background. So in terms of location, it's the countryside, which has connotations of isolation. And in terms of why this shot was used, so we need to see her emotions. So in terms of performance, she's very still, which would suggest that she's troubled. In terms of colour surrounding her, so it's very dark blues, which suggests her life is surrounded by darkness for some reason. In terms of low-key lighting as well, again, it reflects her state of mind, the fact she's consumed by some kind of darkness. In terms of the narrative, so disruption, why is she in this situation? Enigma code, why is she in this place? In terms of hair and makeup, her hair is blowing in the wind. So she's in a place where the elements are attacking her some way. So something is attacking her life and she's in this dark place because of it. In terms of the editing, so it's slow cutting, slow paced to help build up the tension. In terms of lyrics, so we've got all over now, it's all over now repeated. So is this the end of her life? So is this suggesting that she's now going to end her life? So it's all over now. And is this her attempt to solve the problem by possibly killing herself? So if we apply this to Todorov. Now this shot is very important and tends to get missed by students, and this basically opens up the mystery, so we understand why she's in this place and how she's feeling and why. So in terms of camera, this is a point of view shot, so we're seeing through her eyes and we're seeing a memory. So this is, in terms of editing, this is a flashback. So we're seeing these drops of blood appear, and this has connotations of the fact that she's been injured in some way, and this suggests that she's a victim of abuse. Now, if we relate this to the location, a bathroom, this is where you would treat wounds secretly, and it's also a place to hide from violence. In terms of the lighting, it's high key lighting, so the sink is brightly lit, so it allows the audience to see the blood drops and also to see what's on her mind. We have a vignette effect as well, so it really focuses our attention on the sink and the blood. In terms of the binary oppositions, so we know that she is a victim of abuse. In terms of toddler off, this is also a recognition of disruption, so now we know what the issue is and why she's in this dark place in her life. So in terms of effects, we have the wind that blows off her hood. So this suggests that things are getting worse for her. So it's taking away her protection and it's making her more vulnerable. So in terms of narrative techniques like the hero's journey, this is her dark night of the soul. So this is the point of the music video where she's at her lowest. And again, the lyrics all over now. It's all over now is being repeated, again suggesting is this the end of her life. So at this point we have some motivated lighting. So this is where we can see where the light's coming from. So it's a bright light which suggests hope and salvation. And then the music video cuts to this wide shot and she's gone. So where is she? Has she jumped? So this is an Enigma code. So in terms of lighting, we have lots of shadows, low-key lighting, and we see her run out of the shadows, out of the low-key lighting, which means she's trying to find a way out of the darkness. So she's finding a possible solution to her troubles. In terms of editing, so it's more fast cutting here, so it's very fast paced. In terms of sound, this is the solo part of the song. So it's faster, quicker, louder. It reflects her mood, her determination to solve her problem, to escape her problems. In terms of narrative, it's an action code, the lighthouse. So she sees the lighthouse and this forces her or makes her move on to find help that she needs. So in terms of toddler off, this is her attempting to repair the disruption by going to the lighthouse to solve her problems. So in terms of camera, we have a long shot just to show the scale and the importance of the building, and the character is just about visible on the frame. In terms of locations, it's a lighthouse, so connotations of a lighthouse. It's a place of safety or to help people in need or to warn ships when they're getting too close. So it has positive connotations. In terms of lighting, it's a bright light in the darkness, so it's a beacon for safety for this character. In terms of narrative, so this is an attempt to solve the problem by seeking help at the lighthouse. So in terms of camera work, we have a low angle shot, which makes the lighthouse really big. So finding help can be intimidating, so this might be suggesting that with this camera angle. So applying this to binary opposition, so people who are in this kind of need, they often sometimes feel it's a bit scary to get help, so this could be a binary opposition. The fact in terms of performance, she steps back, so she's finding it a bit difficult, which shows how hard it can be for her to find the help that she needs. And when the door opens, the light behind the person is yellow, the same colour as the raincoat. So this would suggest that there's a connection between these two characters, and hopefully this is a safe place because they are very similar to each other. Inside the lighthouse we have a dog on a sofa, so the dog represents those connotations of friendly, safe, comforting. So in terms of this shot, there's a lot going on, so I'll go through it step by step. So in terms of camera, so this is a mid close-up shot. So this allows us to see her face, but also to see around her and see the location. And also as an over-the-shoulder shot as well to establish the fact that two characters are looking at each other. And the fact they overlap in the frame just shows how close they are. Also, this character is possibly an older relative, possibly a mother, auntie, or older sister. How do we know that? Well, she kind of has greyish hair, which would suggest that she is older. In terms of lighting, it's now high key to suggest this is a happy place, a safe place. In terms of Claude Levi Strauss and binary oppositions, this is kind of showing Now, relating this to binary oppositions and how they are resolved can have particular ideological significance. This showing us that there is hope and safety for people in need. In terms of blocking, there is no space between the characters, they overlap in the frame just to show how close they are to each other. In terms of colour, which I said already, the grey hair suggests the person is probably older, wiser, experienced, someone that you would go to when you're in need. And the light pink as well is calming and nurturing. In terms of the prop, we have a rescue ring. So this would suggest that the older woman is rescuing the younger woman. Now, in terms of the toddler off and narrative, so moving one state to the other, she finds safety at the end, a better life, so this might be the new equilibrium. Also, in terms of narrative, this is a closed ending as well, so like I said, a reinstatement of a new equilibrium. And in terms of lyrics, all over now, it's all over now being repeated. So this now means that this is the end of her troubles. So the problems she had in the past are all over. She's found the help and safety that she needs. Now, in terms of adding a conclusion, so I've just done 2 quick sentences. I feel that the use of media language successfully promotes the band to its target audience with an interesting narrative and also providing important information regarding a social issue. So having a quick conclusion should tie everything together in a nice punch.